use parameterized statements. Now we need to understand parameterized statements. The SQL statement containing parameters, unknown parameters. You don't know. Yeah. At the runtime, those values will be provided at the runtime. Yeah. So how to handle that situation? So we use the prepared statement, sub-interface. Yeah. All right. Here we use the animal survey example to explain it. Yeah. In that example, we declare this prepare statement object called update votes. We have one query, we do update votes. And this one, we need to resolve one unknown parameter, the option, the user's option. User select the ID number of one pet. Yeah, so that is unknown. Yeah. All right, this is the statement. Update votes connection.prepare statement method. Okay, so call this method. Then double quotes string value. It's a string variable. This whole string variable corresponds to the SQL statement, the whole SQL statement. Okay, yeah. All right, so here, SQL statement. Update, SQL command. Survey results, the field name. We have one field called survey results. Set, keyword in SQL. Votes, another field called votes, equals votes plus 1. You update using this formula. You add 1 on top of the current votes number and then replace it. Yeah, so that's this line. Then where ID equals this question mark. Where is the another keyword. ID field name equals question mark unknown to be resolved at the runtime. Okay? Yeah. So this one, this unknown parameter, we also call, sometimes we also call that in parameter. Yeah. In the SQL statement, in parameter. Okay? Yeah. All right, so here, that is the format of this SQL statement containing unknown parameters. And you need to use prepare statement to do that. The statement type, the original interface statement type, if you just use the statement type, it cannot handle that. Okay? It cannot handle any parameter. Yeah. So that's the main difference. Yeah. All right. Another point I want to talk about. So here, this situation happens frequently. Yeah. In your program, you may have the similar experience. So here, I may like to, give you some alert because you may got this kind of problem and wasting a lot of time if you do not have this experience. All right. So when the situation is when you need to write a long string SQL statement, yeah, because some statement is pretty long. Yeah. In your program, you need to break it. Yeah. So here, when we break it, in Java, we use this plus operation concatenation, string concatenation operator. We use this, so you know how to use it. But there is a problem. So when you break your SQL statement using that plus sign into multiple lines, the potential problem is, remember, here in my command, in my SQL statement, can you see a space character here? After one, before the closing double quote, you see one space character. One space character. Why it is important? Because think about, by accident, because many of you, if you do not have this experience, many of you may forget this space. If you forget this space, what would happen? Concatenation. Look at the concatenation. So this where will append directly after one. If you don't have space, so you have votes plus one, no space. Where, right? Where, then your DBMS cannot recognize. What is this command? The DBMS cannot recognize it, okay? So the DBS need a space character to tell it, oh, this where is a keyword, okay? So it will process this keyword. Yeah. But if there is no space, you have the SQL command error. SQL command error. Okay? But the SQL command error, there is no error message. You cannot see it. So it is very hard to debug. So that's why for some students, if you do not have this experience, you may waste many hours. You cannot find any problem. Okay? So here I just point this out because it is a common problem. Very common. Okay? Yeah. All right. So that's one. Another point I want to explain here is capitalize. Why I capitalize all these keywords in SQL. In SQL. Okay. SQL statements, case insensitive, not case sensitive. Okay? Case insensitive. That means those keywords, if you use lowercase, it's okay. But people, programmers working in this field, in the community, they, by convention, they like to use the capitalized version for the SQL keywords. Because in that way, you can make your SQL statement more readable. More readable. Okay? Yeah. So the lowercase, oh, you know, so that's your table field names, right? Your table things. Yeah. That's not a keywords. So that's not the SQL keywords. Yeah. So you separate them. So it is much easier to read your SQL statement. Yeah. All right. So that's that part. Yeah. Then with that, let's look at the next one. Execute parameterized statement. Now during execution, we need to assign each question mark a suitable value. So look at here. Set values into the invariables. How to do it? Still from the animal survey example, we use this line. Update votes dot set integer. Yeah, because the vote number, right? The vote field number, it should be an integer value. So that's why we should call set int method. One corresponds to the first question mark. Yeah. In this statement, we can have multiple question marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? One corresponds to the first question mark. Okay? We don't have two, but if we have 2, 3, 4, then we can do it. Set the second question mark and the third question mark. Here, I also give you a string example. If your question mark corresponds to a string value, then you should use set string method. Okay? The first question mark. The first int parameter. Okay? In that way, suppose the value stores the runtime value. At runtime, you retrieve value from the user's input. So you have this value. So you pass it in this way. Okay? Yeah. So then you can execute the query. Update, execute update, dot update. Okay? Yeah. Then performance gain. Next, I want to talk about the performance issue. Yeah. Using this prepared statement, you have some performance advantage comparing with the statement way. All right. First, let me talk about this statement way. The statement way, remember? Yeah. It cannot handle any question mark. It cannot. Okay? All right. But if we need to work on some query that can only be resolved at a runtime, yeah. Suppose the query, we have a query that can only be resolved because there are some unknown parts resolved at runtime. Runtime. Okay. Right? Runtime. Okay. Can we still use statement? If you really want, you can. Okay. Yeah. The way is you set null, right? Remember, we set statement object. We set null at the beginning because we don't know it. Okay. All right. At runtime, after you get all the value, then you use the statement equals everything, no question mark, so you can set it, okay? The statement, you can still handle that. But if you do that, you compare with this way, prepare statement this way, question mark, that way, this way will be slower. Much, much slower, okay? Much, much slower, yeah. All right, so for that reason, it's better to use the prepare statement. Yeah. But here I want to explain why it is slower. Okay? This is the performance gain issue. Let's see. Yeah. All right, the prepare statement can do one thing, do pre-compilation. This terminology. The pre-compilation, do it in DBMS. Pre-compilation in DBMS, yeah. Because all the SQL commands should be compiled in DBMS. Okay? SQL commands should be compiled in DBMS. Okay? Yeah. So there is one step to make it binary executable instructions. So that step in DBMS. Okay? All right. Now, because you use prepared statement, you prepare it in this way, although containing question mark, but this one can also be compiled in DBMS. It's called a pre-compilation. You cannot compile it completely because there is unknown question mark. You need to fix it at the runtime. So you can only partially compile it. So that's we call a pre-compilation. Pre-compilation on the parameterized query before the parameters are known. Okay? When you do that, you already generate binary machine instructions from it, although there is a small portion to be fixed at the runtime. You just leave there, okay? Leave there. At the runtime, you will complete the remaining part. Yeah. Here, let's assume the pre-compilation you complete 90% of the compilation. You leave 10% at runtime. Okay, yeah, very small portion, runtime. Okay, yeah. All right. And another advantage is this pre-compilation you only need to do once. This compilation you only need to do once. Okay? Every time when you use it, you just use this compiled copy, right? You do not need to recompile it. It is only compiled once. But that statement way is not. Okay? Statement way, because every time you get a different SQL, you get a different SQL query, right? So every time you need to recompile it. You get a new SQL command, so you need to recompile it. But this way, only compiled that 90% only once, okay? 10% you need to do recompilation, okay? Yeah, you still need to complete the remaining part. But 90%, you do not need to recompile it, okay? So it saves a lot of time in DBMS, right? Yeah, and yeah. But at the end, the prepare statement, you need to complete the remaining part after receiving the parameters. That's approximately 10% of the work, not too much. So that means the overall performance will be faster. Comparing with the statement way, the prepare statement way, processing SQL statements containing unknown parameters, it will be faster. Okay, all right. So that is this performance issue. Okay, all right. Yeah. The last slide.